So welcome to this next one in the series of Mindfulness Wales education stories, where we're talking about how mindfulness is supporting the curriculum and, most importantly, supporting the well-being of staff and pupils in schools across Wales. And today we've got Naomi Beynon, who is Deputy Head at Bishopston Primary School in Swansea. So Naomi, thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about what you're doing in Bishopston. So how did you come across mindfulness and what did you do about that, and how did you introduce it into the school?
Well, I actually came across mindfulness through my own children because they experienced 12 sessions of Paws B in their primary school. And I was just really impressed at how they took the breathing practices on board and began using them at home when they had trouble sleeping, before they did their judo gradings, for example, any sporting events they're involved in. And my eldest son in particular is quite sensitive, and he really took on board all the work that he'd done through the Paws B sessions on the brain. And so when he understood from that, I think, when he was feeling anxious, that it was a response of his body, and I think it empowered him to realize that he could calm himself down. He could do something when he was feeling a little bit anxious himself to calm himself down, and he found that really empowering tool. So I wanted to bring it into Bishopston for that reason. And also, when we were designing our health and wellbeing area of learning, I spoke to the children. We do a lot of pupil voice to get their views on what they'd like to learn and what we're doing well, what we could do better. Lots of the children were telling me that the same thing, really, that we had a system at the time where the children put in their names, their names on lollipop sticks, and they were putting them in different emotion pots throughout the day, so that the teacher could see who was feeling, a little bit sad if something had happened at playtime, or a little bit angry, or who was feeling happy. But of course, in a busy primary school classroom, there isn't always time to address those emotional needs. So the children were telling me quite overwhelmingly actually, that they wanted more calm time during the day, more time to talk about emotions. And actually they were looking for strategies to be able to calm themselves down. So if they'd had an argument with a friend, for example, on the playground, and they were feeling very cross or very sad, they were looking for a way that they could manage that themselves. And because of my experience with my own children with mindfulness, I thought this is just an excellent thing to bring in. So contacted Paws B, and we had arranged 12 weekly sessions for Key Stage 2 initially.
So you did it for the whole of Key Stage 2, every one of the classes in Key Stage 2?
Yes, so for all of Key Stage 2, we also have SDF class in both sides of the school, so foundation phase and Key Stage 2. So
just remind me what SDF?
Specialist teaching facility. So they were involved as well. Our Key Stage 2 SDF had their own sessions weekly too, which they absolutely loved.
Yeah. And you've managed to integrate it into the curriculum?
Yes, we have. So it's been so successful, and the children responded so well to it. Along with the teaching staff, actually, I run I'm Key Stage 2 lead, as well as being deputy head. And we hold a phase meeting weekly, and the feedback from staff was overwhelmingly positive from the outset, really, that the children were beginning to use it of their own accord. Our Year 4 teacher runs the girls' football team, and they've not played very much beforehand, so they were quite nervous when they had their first match recently, and he was looking for them to warm up for the match, and all of the girls were sat on the sidelines of the pitch doing their mindful breathing practices. So they've started using it when they feel that it's needed, really, in their lives. You see them on the yard using it. We started using it as part of assemblies. So it became so successful that I thought, we want to hold on to this and make it an integral part of our curriculum. And what better time to capitalise on that than we're already designing our curriculum ready for Curriculum for Wales. And we've put in a strand, because one of the statements of what matters is how to process and respond to our experiences, and how that affects our mental health and our emotional well-being. And that's all about the self-regulation of emotions. So we've created a strand within our health and wellbeing area of learning, just specifically for mindfulness and self-regulation. And that goes all the way from reception all the way to Year 6.
Oh, it's lovely to hear. Should we have a look at some of the children? Since you've mentioned what they do. If I just share my screen a minute. There we go.
In mindfulness, my favourite thing was petal practice. You do it like this, so you get your hand, you go closing, and then do the exact opposite but opening.
Finger breathing like this on my black belt grading when I was really nervous.
Sometimes in gymnastics, I do a big move on the beam, and sometimes I miss a step or I fall off, and sometimes it's a bit of a shock, so I start to cry. So I use my mindfulness to keep me going and calm down. If somebody makes you cross, you can just do any of the mindfulness practices, and that might help. Mindfulness makes me happy when I'm upset.
I like mindfulness because it always makes you calm and ready to what you're about to do. I really like the mindful mouthful because it makes me focus on what I'm eating.
Oh, Bubba, it's when we do mindfulness, it's like when no one can enter it.
When I can't go to sleep and I'm really tired, I use the petal practice to help me go to sleep. Fight, flight and freeze is something that will help you when you're worried about something. You'll freeze when you're giving big speeches and get stage fright, and you'll probably fight if you get worried or something. When I play football, I use mindfulness because when I'm about to take a penalty, it's a lot of pressure, and I just do if I just do some deep breathing, it'll stop me from worrying if I miss.
I really enjoy the mindfulness because I use it at home when I get to help me get to sleep.
My favourite mindfulness is soft block, and it means feet on floor, bottom on chair.
I use mindfulness when I lose a game in rugby, or when I get in an argument with my sister, and mindfulness makes me feel really relaxed and tired. I really enjoyed the mindful mouthful because it made us think more about what we're eating.
I like mindfulness with Pause B because it's really peaceful.
A while ago we had the minstrel lesson. We got one. Some people got raisins. We put it down, then we felt it, then we put it in our mouths to swirl it around, and then we ate it. It was very nice.
The hippocampus makes memories join with other memories.
I like petal breathing because it's so relaxing.
Once when I was skiing, I was going on an obstacle course bumps. I slipped over and I fell. It really hurt. And then this man came along and helped me up. And then when I got up, for a few minutes, I did mindfulness breathing in and out.
It helps you to not get angry. Mindfulness helps me relax when I get angry with my two sisters. I use Pause B to help me relax from my two sisters. It helps me to calm down.
Oh, Naomi, that is just amazing. I heard so much self-regulation, emotional awareness, and sensory awareness. And the mindful eating obviously went down very well.
Yes, they all like that one.
And talk about healthy, confident individuals.
Yes,
There's
absolutely.
so many aspects of the health and well-being, key concepts there, and that purpose of healthy, confident individuals coming out of that.
Yeah, it really does cover so much of that health and well-being aspect of the curriculum. And I feel really proud actually that of our children. I feel like they're teaching us now as much as we're teaching them, you know, that we've tried to take it a step further in school. So we've currently, we're choosing children. They're very keen and eager to be chosen to lead the mindfulness practice themselves. So we started within the classes, and now we've moved into larger groups. So in assembly, for example, I will now welcome children who want to come out to the front and to lead the practice for the Key Stage 2 department during our reflection time. And they do that so well. And I think actually that children are so much more able than adults at times to become mindful very quickly. You know, they say go into your bubbles, and you can see the whole hall it just goes silent. You know, you can hear a pin drop, and they're all doing whatever breathing practice they choose to do. And it's just so, you know, you could just see how effective it is for them. And lots of them come up to me and tell me afterwards, you know, I really enjoy that mindfulness session. Children don't say that unless it actually matters to them. You know, you can see they've adopted this because it makes a difference.
Oh, that's just so you've done the 12-week course with all of the children, but what I'm hearing is that you're now really embedding the learning into school life and giving the children those skills for whenever they come across crux moments and good moments. And
exactly,
mindfulness is about coping, which is the most important, especially at the moment. If you're not coping, nothing else happens there. But it's about connection, it's about relationships, and that came over very strongly in those examples, didn't it? And it's about flourishing.
Yeah. And I do feel, you know, at schools, it is our duty to make sure that they make progress academically. But I feel very, very strongly that it is our duty also to give them these self-coping skills and to teach holistically. You know, we're giving them a toolbox essentially for adult life. And I think after the pandemic, we've all realised how important it is to have these skills of self-regulation. And I feel that it just makes me so happy to know that these children are moving forward and we're sending them off to comprehensive school with this set of skills, you know, under their belts. It's such a bonus to them.
And of course, learning doesn't happen unless their well-being
absolutely, yes,
is catered for. So that's amazing. So where are you going next? So
we're hoping to embed further the children leading the practice, because we've just started that and that's going so well. To almost form sort of ambassadors really within the children, a group of ambassadors to lead it in the school. And then we're very keen to take that further and introduce it into the community. We've got a lovely community at Bishopston, and for the children to lead sessions for the parents, for our governors, and to open it up to the wider community to say we're having a mindfulness session here at school. Would you like to come? You know, how lovely would that be for the children to share the skills they've gained and the knowledge they've got with others? I think that's how you really learn, isn't it, when you're teaching somebody else?
And what about staff and their well-being, as well as continuing this across the school?
Yeah, it's because it's been so successful. Foundation phase are obviously very keen to take part too. So our last half term of the year, we're in the summer, we're going to be undertaking the present course with all staff. The teachers are going to be doing 1 hour of training every Monday. And we're doing that instead of our staff meeting. Because we feel it's really important that if we're promoting this idea to the children, that their well-being is important, then we need to promote that with the staff as well. So we're saying your well-being is important, and this is what we're going to do for you for that half term. And that will obviously upskill them then to go forward, and for foundation phase staff to get into training to develop this further throughout the school with our younger learners.
So you're aiming for having your own trained teachers to teach the programs in foundation phase and throughout Key Stage 2.
Yes, we're also going to open that training up to all staff within the school, because we want it to be a whole school approach. So support staff, anybody who'd like to join is welcome to join in those sessions.
So exciting. Look forward to hearing about where you go from here. So thank you so much for sharing that progress at Bishopston with us, and you know, just so delightful to see the children benefiting so much. So wishing you good luck, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Naomi. Let me just share the screen to finish with contact details. Oh, there we go. We do, just with the contact details, if anyone would like to get in touch about any of the information that that you've seen today, those are the contact details, and we can follow that up. So thanks again to Naomi, thanks to the children at Bishopston for sharing their stories, and good luck to Bishopston for taking forward the health and wellbeing area of learning experience with mindfulness as a contributing and significantly contributing part. Thank you.
Thank you.